Hello YouTube. This is our front yard food forest. We're in it for about 4 years now. We moved here 4 years ago and we started planting fruit trees. And actually we didn't just start planting fruit trees. The first thing that we did was make rows. I used the mower, I mowed everything I wanted to be a pathway, and I left little strips unmowed that I was going to be planting fruit trees in, berry bushes, sunchokes, Jerusalem artichokes, tomatoes, cucumbers. Everything's going to be growing in these areas. So I started doing that 4 years ago, just mowing little strips. And actually, the first few trees that I put in, I'm about ready to show you guys. But I started with the fruit trees. Those were the first things I started planting. I started planting those for the first 2 years. The first year and the second year was all fruit trees. Was just the backbone of the food forest. And then, since then, I've gradually started working my way down into the bushes, into the ground cover, into the flowers, into the smaller things, working my way down. So the first thing I did was decide what I wanted to mow and what I didn't. Left little strips unmowed, and then I started planting fruit trees for the first 2 years in those no zones, in those areas where I left alone, didn't mow, let all that organic matter from all that grass just accumulate in there. And so far so good. We're 4 years in. Every year we add more stuff to it, and let's go take a look at it all. Now, when we first moved here, there was 5 trees in this front yard. There was this big maple right here, another maple tree right here, this big guy. There was an eastern redbud tree, this big one right here, and right on the other side of that eastern redbud tree is a dogwood. A little dogwood tree right over there. And then there was a crabapple. There was a crabapple right out by the road. And I just cut that down just the other year, and it's growing back. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because I kind of had to work around this stuff. I had to decide whether it was either going to stay or go, and I kept a lot of these maple trees right here for shade because I figured it was perfect for shade. Look how it kind of shades the yard out, middle of the day. And just like the other trees, I don't mow right up to the trees. I give it space. There's plenty of, look at all this organic matter that just accumulates just from the grass, just from not mowing. You could take a shovel right into that soil versus the mowed area where it's not. It's drier, a little bit harder. And let's start over here. Now let me give you an idea how big this peach tree is. I'm going to go stand here next to it. I put this one in the ground 2 years ago. It was just a little tree. It was a little tree back then. But this part of the yard gets a lot of groundwater when it rains. Well, this little area right here is really green even in the wintertime. You can tell in the winter that there's a lot of groundwater here. And this tree and this other peach really blew up. Now, here's a blueberry. Full of blueberries, just ready to start coming in. We just started actually getting a couple blueberries. And right here at the base of this peach tree, got some squash. I put the honeyberries in. Put a honeyberry here. There's actually a little bit of popcorn that I planted there. That's some corn I put in. This right here is a round butternut squash. I call them butter balls. And some black raspberries. Here's some black raspberries coming in right now as we speak. Another honeyberry. And it's not totally ready yet, but I'll still eat it. Here's another blueberry. Here's some oregano, cucumbers, oh, and a tomato. Little tomato dudes out here. And this tomato's like vining up this mulberry tree right here, along with the cucumbers. You can kind of see this mulberry tree. And then I got another cucumber over here on this side, growing up that way. And this is where the pawpaws are that I dug up. Here's one of the big ones. It's doing good. Pawpaw seedling there. Some peppers. Just some leaves. Some gooseberries that are just now coming in. They taste like amazing grapes. Oh my gosh. I gotta get a couple more of these. If you like grapes, they're like better than grapes. Similar texture, taste, everything. Alright, I got some raspberries. Next year's raspberries popping out, some clover. Here's a bunch of mint growing in here with the raspberries. There's a little pepper we slipped in here. Some more raspberries. And a little cherry tree. This is a patch of Jerusalem artichoke that I put in the ground. I just put a couple tubers in the ground right here a couple years, not last year, the year before that. And this patch was about half this size. And then this year, it's like this. And these flowers will start opening up here pretty soon. And you can see it's just a round patch of sunchokes. And I'm just trying to keep it maintained, I guess. Don't necessarily know if I want to. These are great, I think, for if you're going to be planting fruit trees here in the future. These roots of these can break the soil up really good. But whenever you've got sunchokes, you'll always kind of have them there. And I think this is a good spot for them. Maybe I might put a fruit tree there down the road, who knows. But I haven't started feeding them into the no zones yet. But let's continue over here. Nice big peach tree. This one was one I planted the same year, about 2 years ago, along with that one over there. And we got little Buddha watching over everything. Honeyberry. Another honeyberry. Let's go over there and check those out. Here's a good blueberry, good sized blueberry. A bunch of wild lettuce, lactica. Yeah, here's little honeyberry guys. You can see all the grass where when I mow, I blow all of this grass right in here into the no zones as mulch. And I've done that for the last 4 years now. Raspberry right next to Buddha. There's some cherries. I put some Montmorency cherry pits in the ground right here, and these guys are popping up. I've got them all over random. There's that blueberry. Another raspberry right here. And this here is a Santa Rosa plum. And I did my spacing, I don't know, I didn't really do it by a foot. I just kind of felt it out. I tried to visualize these trees eventually touching and making a nice closed canopy in the future. But unlike other food forests and stuff, I've got these maintained rows right here, and eventually I won't have to mow these as much. As soon as these trees get bigger and start to shade everything out, the mowing will decrease. But right now I kind of like it. I kind of keep it short. It feels like a golf course almost. The kids have fun running around here. The dog runs around, and it's pretty cool. And the shorter I keep it, the more mulch I'm feeding into all my stuff I've got in here. Here's one of those aronia berries doing pretty good. Little young maple tree. Blueberry. Got some blueberries on them. Little pawpaw that I dug up. Transplanted right there. And then here's an apple tree that I planted 4 years ago. That is just really big and tall and leggy. I've never pruned it, and I've just kind of let it go. Almost died on me. Here's a sassafras right here, right next to the apple. I put this sassafras in because I thought the apple tree was going to die, and it never did. Here's some wild onion or wild garlic going to seed. I'm gonna see. Some ironweed, nice pretty purple flowers. That's just a weed that I've left. Aronia. Here's a wineberry that I put in this year. These two I've put in this year. A lot of this lower, smaller stuff is new within the last couple years. Here's a blueberry. The trees, like I said, were the first things that I put in. First 2 years we put in the fruit trees and then worked everything around there and tried to fit everything in the way it should. Here's another mulberry tree. These were seedlings that I brought back when we visited family in Chicago. And here's a bunch of thyme. This is that giant ragweed that needs to go. Another gooseberry. Little gooseberry plant there. Aronia. And we've got some more mint growing here at the base of this Santa Rosa plum. This Rosa plum is huge. I've had suckers coming off of it for the last couple years. Here's a little baby. Whoa, whoa. I just had a bee fly right at my face. Sorry. Little baby right here. And then we've got another little baby right there. And then I think there's another one in there too. Here's a blueberry. Big blueberry that I put in just this last winter. And mulched it really good. And it's alive. We'll see. Maybe we'll get some good growth next year, but this year it's not very happy. I'm gonna eat these gooseberries I've been walking around with. Now this is a methley plum that I've had major issues with. When I put this thing in, it was really root bound. The top of the tree died except for this one branch, so I cut it off right here, and I've slowly been trying to train this back into becoming a tree, and it's been doing really, really good. But I only put support on it on this side last year, and then it started leaning this way, so now I got to put support over there. And I don't agree with having to do this with your fruit trees. You know, if you've got a natural tree, you shouldn't have to, but obviously we buy potted trees and the roots aren't really big enough to support a big tall tree like this, so we just got to give it some time, and hopefully that's what I'm hoping to do here. And this is a new Ann raspberry that I just recently planted. Little baby plum growing off the base. You know, if I get sick of this tree, there's a replacement right there. Here's a nice big tall tomato. My wife put a stick out here and it kind of picked it up off the ground a little bit. It'll eventually just start spreading, but yeah, we've already got a nice tomato down there. It's starting to yellow up. And let me actually go on the other side because there's something over here. Here's another butterball squash I put in from seed. You can see all the grass from me mowing on top of it. One of the pawpaws I just put in this year. Another tomato. That little tomato guy's hiding back there. Here's a currant I put in last year. Now, the funny thing is this little pawpaw I dug up underneath the porch must have had some little tomato seeds in the dirt with it. I've got this little tomato seedling popping up right next to the pawpaw. And this right here is a wild black raspberry I put in this year. Little zucchini dude. Some mint right there. Here's two more mulberries that I brought back from Chicago. These are white mulberries. And I got little fruits on them this year, all of them. So they're all fruiting. They're all going to give me fruit and stuff like that. But mulberries are really one of the only trees that I prune. I try to keep them into a bush. Now, eventually, the more you prune a tree, the more you change it, and the more you take it away from its natural form, the more retarded it becomes. And I don't like retarded fruit trees, guys. But you permanently change the growth structure of that plant, and it's going to be that way forever. And you're actually stifling growth in some instances. But that's what I want to do. With mulberries, large fruit trees, I can shake that tree and I can get the fruit to fall. Mulberries, the birds usually get to it before you do, just like grapes and stuff like that. But mulberry trees, I try to keep them chest level, up to my chest or up to my eyes, and just let them kind of bush out really good. And anytime I see central leaders wanting to go straight up and stuff, I try to cut those back. But in the shade of the mulberries, we've got a little tomato dude. Got a nice tomato on here. A couple little tomatoes. And that's all mint back there. All mint right there. There's a sunflower I put in. Another tomato. I need to get in here and really get these giant ragweed out of here before they get giant. Because they do. Here's a blueberry. There's a bunch of squash seeds I put in the ground right there. Another tomato. Just spreading across the ground. Here's a honeyberry. And I'll back out a little bit and give you guys reference where we're at. We're right here next to this other maple tree. And we've already looked at that little row, the Sunchokes. We came around this way, looked at this whole row, and now we're working our way back down here. And actually, when I come back around, I'll show you the one behind me. But, okay. So here's a peach. I put this one in about 2 years ago. I'm pretty sure I did a video on this one about central leader fruit trees. And here's a whole bunch of little mint dudes mixed in with that honeyberry that I just put in. A bunch of wild lettuces everywhere. And here's a pepper. This is a bell pepper, pretty sure.